and got stoned like I looked at Medusa. I'm a changed man, got my GED, put on my Ray-Bans, I'm a Jesus piece. I hear hate chants from the cheapest seats. Will I shake hands? TBD. Watch your six. Get out of my lane. Let me drop a hit. Get out of my lane. Not like this. Get out of my lane. Got a rocket ship. Get out of my lane. I keep my cool like antifreeze. If they don't wanna clap like an amputee, it's me against the world, like Tupac. I used to party in the street with a boombox. Kept the good trees tucked in my tube socks and got stoned like I looked at Medusa. I'm a changed man, got my GED, put on my Ray-Bans, I'm a Jesus piece. I hear hate chants from the cheapest seats. Will I shake hands? TBD. Watch your six. Get out of my lane. Let me drop a hit. Get out of my lane. Not like this. Get out of my lane. Got a rocket ship. Get out of my lane.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Division 2 matchup of the Premier League. We have 3-5 and ROFS. Getting into the map flip right away, both teams are really eager to start, and we will get this showed on the road. I'm going to be your host, Awake, for this one, and we're going to be playing on an unfamiliar map. We're going to be playing on Driel. So a little bit of a mix-up between, you know, the normal maps we've been doing, so we'll be on the rough side of things for this matchup. Both these teams faced off, I think, in week 4 of this season, with 3-5 taking that 3-2 on SMDM. And I think Pierce Farm was the midpoint on that. So I'm very excited for the midpoint on this. Just gonna flip over to the map real quick and see what we could possibly get. I think if, you know, ROFS do get Brick Factory, it's, you know, very heavy into their favor to win that cap. But, you know, could get the railway bridge or gun emplacements as well. So I guess we will see what we are dealt with. And I have to choose my team, and that is Allies. It should not be a thing. And we get gun emplacements, banks, South Railway. to even it out. Lots of crews for ROFS. Hopefully everyone switched their teams. As you can see, 3-5 does have some players that have a different clan tag that is for their member role that unfortunately recently passed away not too long ago. So thoughts and prayers to him and his family, and hopefully they heal nice and well. But in the meantime, we do have, you know, the gun emplacement. So this was actually, I think, some of the lower divisions did play on this map, and this kind of was their layout. Gun emplacements seemed to be the most common midpoint. Now, obviously, all these midpoints are kind of favored towards ROFS, in my opinion, just because they do get the ground to work with. 3-5, you know, do have to, you know, cross this water at some point. Now, if 3-5 do get the cap initially, obviously it's going to be, you know, very, very, you know, big into their favor. But just in case I do forget, we do have a set of rules that are in play for this reason, which is 1-man unkillable arty, indestructible nodes, and panthers are banned. And there's a little bit of a caveat in this. Both heavy tanks for the allies can be used. Oh shit, I think I did the wrong thing. Did caster intro. Where's the score bug? There it is, yay. So ROF, see what they do here. Looks like they're bringing an extra recon tank. I don't know who. Okay. It's there. See what 3-5 is rocking with. One truck on the border. Not sure if I see another truck anywhere. Like a Puma on that main road. Lux, another truck is on its way with a supply truck. And I think that will be that. Like they did spawn in another truck there for 3-5. And yeah, we'll get this show under the way. I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm extremely tired after casting one too many matches, I think, especially one at 5 a.m. this morning my time. But we will figure it all out. Hopefully my voice is not too loud. Maybe I was supposed to use my mic. I have no idea. The ROF's actually going for a very wide supply drop. I'm surprised no one from... Oh, there is a trucker that's going on the border. Don't know if we're going to be hearing any sort of snipes at all. Do not believe we do. Guess we'll follow the 3-5 crews in. US tank is rocking one rocket. Fortunately does not hit anything. Rob's actually going out of bounds. Looks like 3-5 actually will probably get to this cap slightly bit faster. They do have an easier route, just going straight south without any real hesitation whatsoever. It's a pretty axis favored point as far as the initial, you know, getting to the hard cap. All rockets are coming in. They are. Stuff is going as well. Oh, and someone in that cell gets run over by a truck. Quite unfortunate if you are ROFs there. Looks like this is all 3-5 for this initial cap. The trick is, though, trying to get your armor in good positions to help your infantry, because if they're not, it'll be very, very tough. Take a look at the map. ROPS actually going very, very wide. Looks like they are gonna use the Lux tank to distract that light, and the P4 will probably finish him off for the easy one-tap kill. But 3-5 do have to worry. The Piat for the British can easily pen the gotta switch that up. Can easily pen the front plate of any medium tank, and basically any tank that they throw at them. Looks like tank engagements have started with the two mediums. I think it's just the light tank just pissing off the medium. They're actually getting some pens into him, believe it or not. Maybe it's just tracks. It's actually forcing the Panzer IV to back off a little bit. Interesting on that one. Wonder if Muss does have a rocket or if he has a satchel. I'm just very surprised that this light tank for ROFS has not been destroyed by this medium tank. As we head to the other side of the gun emplacements point, it's pretty much all ROFS over here. You know, they do control the bridge, which they need to control in my personal opinion. But you know, this could be a big kill if Muss. I'm just really confused if he does not have a rocket or anything like that. I assume he does. I think he's using the bolt. Somehow Muss is not dead to this Lux. P4 finally takes out that light tank. And Burnt does get one to the side of the P4, but he might have hit tracks with that one. And the quick reload will actually be a hull shot. He is slightly damaged. P5 so close to getting to this mid cap first and capturing it first, but the P4 does go down to the medium tank that is on top of the bridge. Already starting to dial in for the ROFS side of things. And they are starting to defend now. A little bit of lag spike there. This is a Australian team ROFS versus a North American team 3-5, so we will be playing on a Japanese server. I'm very surprised that they don't try to dive with this Lux, try to burn some OPs, kind of reset ROFS a tad bit. Muss, unfortunately, does miss with his Piat round. I don't think Wicked actually knows where that came from, and that will get a side shot into the Lux tank. Muss then taking out Wicked. And Chaos. Oh, Chaos and Murphy. Murphy goes down too. Falsely using the flamethrower. And it's all ROFS for the hard cap. I'm not quite sure where all the 3-5 are at. ROFS with pretty good map control. Medium still up as well. Where the medium's at. They actually have a light tank down here as well. Dingo Solo Recon. And 3-5 just starting to get wiped off the point a little bit. Huge spawn wave on the garrison that you kind of typically see on your left side of the screen there. Big spawn wave from 3-5, and that's kind of their only key garrison that they can get on this point. Like I said, when you're across the river, you can get a garrison there, but, you know, probably we're going to have one probably on the other side of this road by Banks. 3-5 with the rep station back here to get that Lux tank back up and repped. I think the medium tank just actually died to a Tiger tank. Yes, I do believe a Tiger tank actually did get him. Maybe? That's just a truck. Okay, never mind. I lied. Bomb run coming in for ROFS. Actually wiping out a decent amount. Very well placed bombing run there from the Allied commander, Whispers of Death. And I think the Axis commander, I'm not sure who's commanding for the Axis for 3-5. We'll be doing the more or less the exact same thing. So commander's gonna get their kills for the game with the bombing run. I think the ROFS bombing run was a little bit better, but you can see all the 3-5 just kind of spread out all their OPs. If they can just get maybe, you know, a grenade or two to lob over this hedge, you can probably wipe out an OP or two. Obviously, it's easier said than done. Both these teams very, very evenly matched. Falsely there with the flamethrower. Unfortunately, does not get Murphy there. Three-5's trying to win some frags now. You can see 3-5 basically taking the hard cap. Not sure where ROF's heavy tank is. Pretty far back. You can see a nice little recon plane there from the Allied commander. Artie's going to dial in their shots now. A little bit better of a idea of where they're kind of coming from. You know, it's pretty, you know, cut and dry of where they're coming from, but now, so far, this is a very exhausting mid-cap. It's going to be over 15 minutes for this mid-cap so far. Strafe run actually comes in for the rock side of things. Not quite sure. Trying to get some kills there, I guess. They kind of can spend the munitions because they really don't need to use them, in my personal opinion. So I don't actually disagree with that strafing run. You already used your bombing run. The other team used their bombing run. Oh, Killer Kyle. STG gets quick 3, and that's 3 huge kills, and burns an OP too. That might be the life that they needed from him, and it's kind of all 3-5 now. Pretty much controlling this entire point. Heck of a rocket there from somebody. Airhead is actually coming in from 3-5. Gammon bombs are getting thrown out. That is an Axis bombing run or airhead, but then ROFS also using the airhead themselves. Obviously, the ROFS airhead is a little bit more dangerous for them to use, just because 3-5 does have a slight advantage as far as actually getting to it. The artillery coming down on the airhead, as you can see on the left side of the map, they're actually wiping out some OPs. Just kind of overran that side a tad bit. I think ROFS might just be able to get one spawn wave off of this airhead before the cap is finally flipped. And 3-5 kind of basically fully controls gun emplacements unless we're going to see a giant airhead spawn. Which, you know, it is completely clear, but ROFS kind of nowhere near the hard cap, and this is going to probably flip towards a 3-5 cap just a second. We do see a giant arrowhead spawn, and that actually will start defend a little bit. And that will be a cap or 3-5 to start out this match. Just under 15 minutes, under actually 16 minutes for this mid-camp. So nice little mid-cap battle here to start the game. Just adjust my seat real quick. Now, obviously, with playing Driel, it's going to be very interesting how both these teams play. Tanks play. Not quite sure what to kind of expect from either team. Obviously, trying to flank a tank on the far side of things is going to be, you know, kind of rough, but, you know, still doable. Trying to see where these tanks are playing from. Player 2 looks like Greasy Beefcake back here, and they unfortunately got a tank stuck. That is not what you want if you're ROFS. I think they maybe try to avoid some tank rounds, and they unfortunately are going to get a heavy tank stuck. That is not what you want if you are ROFS. That's probably honestly why they, you know, ended up losing this gun emplacements point. Is unfortunately they did not have that heavy tank presence after losing some of their, you know, default vehicles and, you know, games, and their spawned in light and recon tanks. See Voss here running some OPs, gets 2 with the STG, gets 3 with the STG. Even gets some more, gets 4, and then goes down to Big Red, who gets refragged ASAP. But nice life there from Voss. Yeah, crossing these flowers when this map first dropped was honestly the most fun I've had in a while in Hella Loose, but it is a pain in the ass if you are pushing gun emplacements. Even in a pub, it can be pretty bad, especially like in the offense-defense mode before we had private servers on console. It was one of the more frustrating points, in my opinion, to push. You can see kind of how wide these teams are playing. You know, 3-5 not going to really overcommit on this side of things as much as, you know, ROFS will. You know, there is some presence here from both teams, mostly in the favor of ROFS. This is honestly just to keep ROFS on their toes. You know, unless they, you know, completely outfrag, you know, very quickly, there's no need to spend any more than this. Actually, the midpoint does get flagged for a second. I think it's just because no one's in hard cap, to be completely honest with you. But I think this tank is actually still stuck back here. Let's double check on that. Yeah, they're probably going to need another tank or so to push it out of that. Definitely going to need another heavy tank to do so. That's just very unfortunate if you're ROFS. You could really be using that heavy tank right now. 3-5 is honestly probably on their heels waiting for this heavy tank to kind of appear so they can ping it, but you know, maybe it's a good thing that the tank is stuck. You never know. You never know. Here for some of these fights. Double checking some things on my stream. Okay, everything's nice and dandy. Island Kiwi basically all by himself with a bunch of 3-5. 3-5 actually committing a little bit more people over here than I honestly thought. It's nothing too crazy, I don't think, but I think the tank is trying to shoot its way out of there now. That's stuck. As you can see, 3-5's actually sending some AT guns up over here, but they're not really needing to use them. They're just kind of just shooting at infantry. I wonder if Flare Daddy will get absolutely destroyed by this AT gun right here in a second. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? Who exactly knows? Okay, burning Tiger up a little bit. I'm not quite sure if ROFS does have a second tank. Yeah, looks like they do. Looks like they actually did abandon that other tank. Just gonna let that one kind of maybe die out. I would see if you could try to push another heavy and try to get that one unstuck, but then you kind of risk another tank getting stuck. Maybe just use the default medium for that type of thing, but oh, there's some gamma bombs being thrown, not sure by who. Already just coming down on Raccoon there. Very surprised not to see Pookie with the Thompson. Oh, he's gonna die to Brian from behind potentially. Vegan sirloin. It's one. Bullets does not see him. The STG from Bullets. Very confused on where this tank fight is potentially happening. Looks like it's happening over here. Yes, they do have a heavy tank over here. And like I said, both heavy tanks are unbanned for the allies. Only tank that is banned is the Panther, so just throwing that out there. Actually kind of quite hard to see where the Axis tanks are at, but you know, Fubar, Chaos, and others starting to get, you know, inching their way closer towards ROFS' 4th point. And you know, with no infantry around this this heavy tank, this tank could get saturated here any minute by Fubar. Definitely knows it's here. Running there with the STG satchel, and I think ROFS is starting to become aware of it. He is starting to back up. He is going to pull out his satchel. TC does get out, but actually does get ran over. And that tank is going to get out of dodge. He'll probably live to see another day. ROFS actually kind of pushing up the gut here. Pookie, Sourloin, and Falsely making their way up the middle portion of this point. Oh, and Brian will knock him down. Probably definitely flaring a Garrison or two. Or Garrison and some OPs, I mean to say. So they did bring up their medium tank for ROFS. You know, in a pretty decent spot. Not quite sure where the actual heavies are at. The heavy tanks for 3-5 are actually playing super passive. I think I do see one on the bridge over there. I think that's just a Puma, never mind. The Tiger tank did hit the turret of that medium tank. Does not know where that shot came from, and he will get taken down as kind of expected. But you know, that Panther was kind of exposed himself a little bit. You know, he did expose himself a tad bit. Bomb run going off ROFS on the main road. Like ROFS medium or heavy tank is still alive. I think they can bring out another one. Looks like they do, but they're trying to get their other one maybe unstuck. What is going on back here, dude? I would not have your heavy tank here if I was ROFS. This is a very exposed position. Yep. Let's take one round. I think it does hit the turret. Looks like it will get away. Hear the comms between the teams, getting those reps in. Rod's definitely going to ask now in their command chat to try to find where that tank shot us from. As they probably have no idea. It's also very interesting to see that no ROFS are actually behind 3-5 at all. Very surprised to see that. I feel like they can get easier pings on tanks. Probably having a tough time on this, you know, western side of the map because, you know, ROFS now do have to cross the river if they do want to get behind them. I'm a little shocked that they haven't done that just to get like a recon squad. You know, get your sniper behind them, pick them off from the other side of the river. see what Stug got, and Stug does not got. Or Stugots? I have no idea. Oh, I didn't. I knew if I was gonna follow him, he would have died very, very quickly. In the front line here, 3-5, just really controlling everything, even crawling there. You can see Wicked just crawling to his to a spot where he wants to get to. I feel like this is a very rough point for ROFS to take back. I think it's probably the hardest point for the allies to take back. I'm just thinking of the, you know, the two midpoints. You have the bridge, obviously, and then Brick Factory. Brick Factory, you do, I think, get a little cover from like your garrison network and everything like that. You can play some, you know, pretty close to the red-blue line, one in this corner and probably one in this field, and you can probably easily get, you know, reset to Brick Factory. Bridge, I think it's probably the second easiest to get, or I guess, you know, it's kind of medium. It's a bridge. You basically try to just control the bridge, and it's, you know, probably just dealt with already and just not a lot of fun stuff to deal with. But then this point, gun emplacements, it's kind of like St. Mary Glees that we saw earlier today, where they kind of have to cross like a big field to regain the north control. And then, you know, you have this, you know, western or southern side of gun emplacements where it's your best option as far as cover, but it's not, you know, the best option because that's where you're mainly going to try to push from. And, you know, give credit to 3-5 so far. They have, you know, maintained this control and slowly push ROFS back, you know, ever so slightly, and they just keep progressing that. Recon teams actually in gun emplacements somehow sneak back up in here, easily getting some pings on some heavy tanks. I'm not quite sure if they have two back here. Yes, they do have two back here. Looks like we do have a heavy fight, but it looks like one of the heavies did end up going down for ROFS. I think they did get that one unstuck. And a P-strike is coming in, and immediately the tank's moving, but he stops, and he's now backing up. I think he's backing up into the P-strike, and it will take out the Tiger. Beautiful P-strike there from Whispers of Death, coordinating well with Flare Daddy. Nice little play there from the commander and the recon spotter. Huge play that now evens out the tanks a little bit, I'd say. You know, they just lost the heavy tank, but then getting basically the trade back with a P-strike. It's a huge P-strike, but now, you know, ROFS infantry has to kind of step up their game a little bit as well, because now they're pretty much pushed back a little bit. But, you know, 3-5 does have to be careful. If they try to push back all of this where ROFS are at, that's not cap sector, and they could really, you know, shoot themselves in the foot if they keep, you know, if all these guys on screen right now for ROFS just keep pushing south and just, you know, force that, you know, that heavy tank. It's kind of, I would say, not necessarily pointless, but, you know, 3-5 can just push from the bridge and, you know, enter the point. But pull the phone. Oh no. The 3-5 are aware of this heavy tank flanking around, and it is taking around. 3-5 even playing the entirety of the map. Oh boy, trying to get a rocket in, and we'll get one rocket in the butt. See if oh boy gets the kill here. Does not get the kill, but more stuff is hitting this tank. I don't think this, I think that's a recon. Recon and something else, I think. What's that? I don't know what's over there. I think it's another recon tank. It does get blown up, but I think the Tiger actually killed that tank. See if his gun is aimed towards over here or not. Yes, it is. Heavy tank from a mile away did end up killing it, but you know, good effort there from ROFS, throwing a wrench in the game plan, doing something a little bit different that you kind of really don't see. Just a heavy tank going on its own. You maybe probably try to prefer a light tank to do that kind of thing, or maybe a medium. You know, 3-5 actually started to push in the rail, in the South Railway a little bit, actually started to flight the point, but, you know, with all that pressure that they're putting on the front door of ROFS' fourth point, ROFS is just, you know, kind of walking in 3-5's front door. Legend and Tank just camping in the bush together. Or Ledford and Tank, I don't know why I said Legend. You know, this is going to force 3-5 now to back up and, you know, start defending. This is a lot of riflemen right here. I don't know how all these riflemen kind of got here, but they did. I'm very confused of how all these riflemen got here. Where's the SL? Just a recon OP, but a ROFS bomb or airhead coming down. Where's is on it? I'm surprised no one has thrown a grenade on it, but yep, the grenade does come and will kill the commander. And the bomber run goes the opposite direction. Interesting play there. I'm not quite sure why he did it in that direction as opposed to kind of going into the hard cap, but maybe he thought they were coming in from the western side of the point. Yeah, I'd say it's a good reset there from ROFS. Oh, but this heavy tank does get hit once from the Tiger. Hits him back, but will get the kill. I think both tanks just get to that position, and ROFS were a little bit slow maybe to react, or 3-5 just saw him first. That is now 3 heavy tanks down for ROFS. I do not believe they have a single one up. Yes, they do on defense, as well as looks like they're going in with the 2-man light tank on the far edge, trying to get something going, maybe behind them, and start making these tanks worry a little bit more. But you know, now 3-5 kind of just sticking it to ROFS and pushing through that front door. Hello, Iowa Harley. Yeah, if you look at the map, yeah, they did wipe out that map pitch area. There is supplies there, but holy hell, that's a lot of ROFS. And, you know, lots of garrisons down for ROFS around South Railway. I'm not quite sure. This is a small ragtag team of 3-5. Only about 8 or so, 9 or so people. I know final on Driel is just weird. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right. But I love it. I do love it. Get some more variety on the streams, and well, it's at least one team playing, you know, a different faction once in a while. I'm actually extremely warm right now. See what no comms does. Does get a headshot. See if Voss or Brian can maybe get the refrag with the STGs. Yes, they do. They take his head off. It's just weird. You just see like maybe one ROFS guy just slip through the cracks. You know, we got Dingo back here now. Obviously, you wish this was a AT or assault or an engineer class, but you know, as long as there's one guy back here with the automatic rifle, it scares tanks. So see what he can maybe do. Maybe he can cause some mayhem. Jesus Christ. I don't know how much supplies 3.5 have dropped back here, but I'm pretty sure ever since, you know, they capped the point, they have dropped nothing but supplies for these tanks for rep stations. I'm pretty sure that's all they've dropped them for. I think another AT gun went down at the border. Yeah, probably. I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off. I am burning up. Ugh. Do not have a sweatshirt when you play comp or past comp. It's really warm. You start sweating even though you're not playing. I'll let these guys fight over here. Let's see, you know, some progress made here by 3.5. See what Eli will do. And very, very cautiously gets into the train car. Will he see Psych? Might hear him. He might see him. He does not see him. I don't know what he's doing. Will he see heals? I think he did see heals. We'll just let Eli, you know, hide in his little train cart there. Do what he has to do. I don't think he's moving for a little bit, but you know, more. Does ROFS have an OP? Yes, they do have an OP here, and a distraction truck maybe. Not quite sure what that was for, but okay. Kenny Boy and Juicy. It's got Stug, Hammer. Old Boy's not rocking the flamethrower. I wish we could see some more flamethrower action, but I don't think anybody wants to have fun. They want to win. This tank is getting in position to possibly hit this heavy tank, which I think might be satcheled here by Voss. It's glitching the hell out. Panzer down does get taken out. Satchel is on the side of the tank. And I do not think they know that they are satcheled. Spirit does get out, but is on the wrong side of the tank for the satchel. He does not see it. Oh no, it's going to take out the garrison too. It's going to be a huge satchel there by Boss. Oh, that's going to take out the garrison as well. Ugh. Huge play there from Boss. Very unfortunate from ROFS there. They did have a chance to, you know, defuse that satchel, but unfortunately, I don't think the call was made that they were indeed satcheled. Go back over here because the 3-5 tanks are having a little bit of a difficulty themselves. Juicy does get taken down by Skeeter. As you kind of expect, you know, the defensive tanks are playing super passive. This is a little bit more passive than I honestly would think. If I do have to be, you know, frankly honest with you, I honestly did not expect ROFS to, or not ROFS, but 3-5 to play this passively with their tanks. Obviously they're, you know, playing to win the game, but it just seems that they're playing super passive. Skeeter takes down Stug, and I think Fat Hog will wipe out that OP. No. OP's still up, but he does throw a grenade on it. Guess he was trying to camp it with a grenade too. And then Kenny Boy does go down the old boy. And then in that same little fight, looks like a few players from 3-5 snuck in the back of South Railway. Garrison Network looking, you know, not the best for Ross, if I do have to be honest, but what is going on back here? ROFS obviously had, you know, completely taken the bridge. Havoc dealing with the tank of their own. And Havoc, unfortunately, missing his rounds. And we might see a light tank take out a medium. And unfortunately, the tank is going to turn around just in time. But he does miss, and he runs him over. Wonder for... Oh, he misses. What is going on? Honestly, is he trying to push... I thought he was going to try to push him off the bridge, but... Rangalicious. Come here with the satchel now. Gotta be careful. Not really a lot of spots to maneuver. He will get taken out, but you know, a lot more players coming up. Battle Swan does get out as well again, but does get taken out this time. P4 just gonna splash everywhere. Raccoon will finally get down that satchel onto that medium. Medium will finally go down. Probably took ROFS a little bit longer than, you know, they probably wanted to, but, you know, they do have something going behind them, as well as, you know, Sirloin falsely again from behind. They're wiping out garrisons and rep stations, I assume. I'm very curious though. What if ROFS gets an AT gun behind them? Alright, this is starting to look into like a pub lobby now a little bit. But, you know, it's controlled chaos, as I like to say. Looks like 3-5 are aware of some shenanigans in their back line. This is going to be interesting for the 3-5 defense now. They really can't commit too much on the front door. Looks like they are kind of... I think they're resetting maybe a little bit too much with 3 SLs back here. I don't know if I agree with that if I'm 3-5. I do not know if I agree with that if I am them. Spoon obviously going to hold down the front line. They're still super, super wide too for 3-5. This is turning into a very interesting game of kind of cat and mouse. Because ROFS have kind of, you know, completely lost this front door up here. They've been losing the fuel economy for the most part as well. But, you know, they're not, you know, dead yet. They do have a heavy tank in the HQ. So they do have the opportunity to do something with those 2 heavy tanks. Poor daddy inside of a bush, and we'll die to a grenade from Kasi. Looks like something blew up here. I assume those probably rep stations. Yeah, just rep stations from Artie. Something just blew up back there for 3-5. Not quite sure what that was, but don't know where I'm looking. I'm very interested to see this though back here. This is actually interesting to see this kind of fight. Because more or less 3-5 have won the bridge. Now if I was Rum, I would not have my OP over there. I would probably have tried to get it maybe somewhere back here, like E5, D5 area. Because now Spood Beast here, probably gonna go and wipe out his OP. Sees a spawn, throws a grenade onto it, and will miss the grenade. But OP is exposed, so now Rum is gonna have to find a new home to place his OP at. At the same time, 3-5 just losing the bridge, but, you know, ROF's not really doing anything with that bridge control. Huge satchel goes off, kills P3-5 members. No comms running as rifleman yet again. The tank does get shot once and then immediately hides under the hill. Rockets coming in from a very, very long fire shot away from, I think, Music or Mugs. I can't really tell with his name. Unfortunately, Muss unfortunately missed both those rockets. Curious of what this Tiger trying to do. I'm surprised they haven't trying to, you know, get some reps in. I feel like they're fearing that there's people behind them, but I think that's, you know, kind of got completely wiped out at this point. Sergeant McMillan goes down the hammer, but got his refrag from Taco. It looks like they are going to get some reps in. 3 engineers going to team up together, get these reps in. It's beautiful teamwork there. I'm not sure if my stats will work. We'll see if that was actually turned on for this match. Yes. No, it's not. It's not turned on, but that's okay. Guess the stats have not gotten refreshed, but I guess Aberg has 31 kills, maybe? I don't think it's really that updated. I think they just have to refresh the page, but we're not going to get live stats for this match, unfortunately, but it is what it is. AG in a bush. That hog runs right on top of him. Still's on top of him. AG missing the shots. Bad hog missing the shots, and I think he just went down the gentle there. And a P-strike comes down and kills the tiger. I caught it just in time. Just over a half hour to go, and it's been pretty much, you know, 3-5 this entire match ever since that mid-cap. Mid-cap was around 15 minutes, so nice little even back and forth. But then as soon as ROFS maybe lost a few OPs, I think honestly that heavy tank being a slight delayed honestly probably did, you know, cost them getting that mid-cap, you know, it getting stuck for basically 15 minutes. They didn't have a heavy tank at the start of the match, since it was when they could, you know, grab it up and spawn it in once they spawned it in. But, you know, I think that is going to be, you know, a thorn in ROFS' side if, you know, if this game ends, you know, with the same result in 32 minutes. ROFS are going to be kicking themselves that tank through. Unfortunately, got stuck. You know, it's hella loose. Those things do happen. You know, you really can't control what the game kind of does sometimes. Sometimes, you know, you practice, you know, going over like a trench or some sort of waterway, and then the game just, you know, doesn't bug out because you didn't take the exact route, you know, in your prep or in your dry run. So, you know, things happen is what I'm trying to say. Very interesting to see Flare Daddy gonna drive the truck. He immediately gets cut down by, I think, Carson with the MG. I'm surprised. I guess the tank wants to get some more combat score to boost up their stats before this game and season ends for both of these teams. After all, this is the Division 2 final. Also, be sure to check out Caparzo and his channel on the other stream. He's on the other side. His link is in my description. As well as go check out some other games that are happening right now, such as the Pathfinders and 9PZ that is happening on Smithers and DonGotti's channels as well. Links are also in my description below. Or if you're on like Google TV, I have no idea where that's at, because apparently some people watch this on their TVs. That's okay. Don't know what's going on over here. Kind of just people moseying around. But you kind of see 3-5 playing a lot more conservative towards the actual sector itself than trying to push the South Railway. It's very interesting, and I feel like they have something up their sleeve that I cannot see. Maybe they have like a half track somewhere, because, you know, they have been on the fuel, you know, up end for the majority of this game. I think they're probably one heavy in favor for them now, because they did get 2 successful P-strikes off. So, oh, but a huge Artie hit from the 3-5 Artie. I think Comet is the Artie player for 3-5. Oh, we got some Gamma Bomb action here from Bob the Builder. Kobe does not kill Egbert. God, I love Gamut Bombs, dude. Gamut Bombs are like my favorite thing to use in this game. They're the most enjoyable weapon to use on this map, other than the Piat, maybe. Piat's a fun AT utility thing to use. Not sure where that rocket was going, but Muss in the hard cap. This is Mortain, Driel, and other maps with these kind of bushes in a nutshell. Just bush campers everywhere. Exposing everybody today. Everyone's guilty of it, but that hog just sprays in the bush and pops him down. We can maybe have a tank fight on our hands between the mediums. Like a tiger and a medium. I think an AT gun actually went down. It did. You can kind of see that, barely see the silhouette of that medium tank through that wall there. And I think he is getting pinged out by a 3.5 SL. They do have another tiger laying in wait, so they have 3 tigers on the field. I think they still have 1 at the defensive point. Not sure what they just non-penned, to be honest, but they are keeping these tigers on their toes. I feel that's a lot of resources, to be honest, because I think one thing that if 3.5 are gonna, if 3.5 were to lose this game, which they, they are winning still, so if I guess ROFS were to win this game, if they just kind of balls to the wall push, gun emplacement, somehow try to get this tiger off the board, I think they can maybe just, front door it and then see what happens. Because the season ends in 27 minutes for both these teams. One will be the D2 champion, one will not. That's how this works. But, ROFS have been on the back foot kind of all game. They haven't really gotten anything going since they lost that initial mid cap. They did have some highs, but then they also had some pretty bad lows, like getting that tank stuck. So, they're going to have to do some sort of creative play. And, you just don't know what that is yet. You really can't use a half track because the tank's on the bridge. And you just are going to get, caught out really, really easily. So, do you try to go for airhead bomb and run? Because Jetflow's going to be on that point. He's going to be, watching that like no tomorrow. Now 3.5 are just making a nice little front line, a little shell around gun emplacements. You can see it started to flicker a little bit on the hard cap. This 3.5 are dedicating a lot of resources outside the hard cap. They have 2 heavies basically on the bridge, as long as probably a good amount of infantry too, but I'm pretty sure ROFS are waiting for, some sort of play to happen. I think they're starting to make that play develop. I think right now for ROFS, their goal is just to gain as much ground as they can before they are going to make that play and commit to it. I'm surprised you can throw grenades that far. Holy shit, dude. You can throw grenades this far? I'm very surprised by that. Big spawn wave does come in. And And unfortunately, they all died except for Bob the Builder. Looks like a bombing run is actually coming down. Bombing run airhead. It's actually killing a lot of the ROFS boys. That is very unfortunate if you are them. Airhead is landing and is down. Does 3-5 not know about this airhead? I don't think 3-5 knows about this airhead. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Are we about to see a giant spawn wave? We do. Lots of ROFS on the airhead. Oh my gosh. I assume 3-5 is now aware of this on the front lines. They are starting to cap a little bit. I think Reinforce actually went down probably from 3-5, but also a lot of ROFS are dying off that spawn as well. Another big spawn wave does come in. Shuffles from behind with a MG. I have no idea where he's shooting at because he should be getting a bunch of kills right now. More ROFS are coming in. Flare is going up. Huge retreat and reset here from 3-5. I want to say ROFS, that's got to be a reinforce there from 3-5, because now ROFS are basically, their whole team is inside the hard cap. Yeah, this is definitely a reinforce here from 3-5. Definitely did that preemptively. Then we're going to get another spawn wave, huge spawn wave off the airhead. Bullets does miss it with the rocket. I think the airhead will get one more spawn wave off if Bullets does not get it. He does not get it. Someone else also missed their rocket. Spawn wave on top of an OP. I think 3-5 will be okay. Bomb run is also now coming in. Will wipe out the airhead, and the airhead does not get a last second spawn, but you know, a little bit of a huge scare there from 3-5. Smart reinforce. I think that was definitely a reinforce by 3-5. There was so many ROFS in the point, and he just immediately, I think, used that reinforce. Now, if you are ROFS, you lost a lot of your front line, but you basically, oh, they lost a lot more than just their front line. They kind of lost everything. I think that was their one play. It's a very tough point, though, if you are ROFS. It's a very, very tough point if you are them. It's a little bit unfortunate we didn't see anything wild happen there, to be completely honest with you. I wish we had more chaos if ROFS capped that. Would love to see maybe 3-5 try to cap it with 20 minutes left, but ROFS, unfortunately, did not have that, I think, the little bit of luck that they were kind of hoping for off of that, and 3-5 easily, I would say, shut that down with, no real sweat. There probably was some panic, but I think, you know, in the whole grand scheme of things, there was not, you know, anything too drastic that came out of it that they were, you know, worried about. But I also think they did lose their heavy tanks as well. They do have one at the bridge, so they do have that going for them, but he is getting harassed a lot. There is a Tiger, I guess, in his way. Drugs and Guns gets absolutely cooked. Get that first shot into that tank. And that will be a dead Tiger tank. Well played there from... I have no idea. Guskit, I know him. He's a caster. Shout out to Guskit. Guskit and his crew. I thought Bob the Builder actually just got ran over, but looks like Tiger tank actually pushing right ahead of them. Oh, ricochet and kills the rep station. That's a new one. Oh, but this is going to be a nice, tight little pinch here from both these tanks. I'm really surprised this Tiger's not pushing. Now he is, but I think this heavy tank will die to this Tiger right in front of him now. Oh, the Tiger misses, actually. Fortunately, this rep station is not going to rep anything. This turret was taken out too in that process, so that's going to be a dead tank for ROFS, and that is a dead heavy tank. And I think, yeah, that is their last heavy on the field. Lots of space that 3-5 is working with now. $60 minutes left in the game. It's looking rather dark for ROFS. Not a lot of map control with them. Recon actually just lost their OP2. It's not really looking good, but you know, in the game of Hell, anything is possible. But you know, ROFS kind of need a little bit of a luck on their side and a little bit of a miracle. Working off their defensive point now, and it's a long 600-meter run to gun emplacements. Yeah, I feel like ROFS are very, very exhausted. Definitely a entertaining airhead play, just, you know, just didn't work out for them. 3-5 are really, really ready for it. Not much you can do about that. You know, it was a little bit scary that, you know, I was very, very surprised that ROFS even got that, like, play off. I would think 3-5, you know, there's a bombing run that's just magically coming down on gun emplacements. Maybe Gentle was on it, but, you know, died to maybe the initial blast. But, you know, you never know. Maybe he died to a sniper before that all happened, and maybe he didn't see it. But I feel like, you know, teams should just know that, hey, if bombing run's randomly coming in, maybe we should probably see what's going on. This is just kind of random. But ROFS, you know, they have good resources, obviously, other than fuel. They'll probably get maybe one more heavy tank that's going to be in use by the builder using smoke as the meta class. Unfortunately, the pistol versus STG will not be in their favor. Looks like ROFS are actually starting to lose railway. Pretty much all sector cap. Just all these people are here. Yeah. Big spawn onto the defensive garrison here at South Railway. By really pushing ROFS to their limits. I think TJ actually just burned an OP from under the bridge, so it's a new one. And he is immediately on the garrison as well. And unfortunately, this SL here kills him a little bit too late, but he does have a 150 box, so he's probably easily going to replace it. But TJ's actually in the spawn of where the garrison was destroyed. So now he can place it in the same exact spot. Airhead is actually going on the exact same spot again. Oh, I hit the ground. Yeah, pretty much the exact same spot. I don't think it's gonna work twice. Gentle is looking up in the air. Yeah, he sees it. He's calling it out. I don't really think he needs binos for that, in my opinion, but I think this airhead will be taken out probably by this Tiger or a grenade from Gentle. Run is coming in as well. So just waiting for it. Actually goes down. TJ is going to be the closest one to this airhead. I think TJ will probably get it unless Kenny Boy or Pookie or somebody can shoot them off this airhead. This is probably ROFS's last ditch effort. And Kenny takes down TJ. Now the tank is driving into position, and I think this tank is about to get a full 49 kills here. It's about to be a very unfortunate end to this ROFS spawn wave. Yeah. Oh, he misses. ROFS is going in, but unfortunately they have a Tiger tank to deal with. Defensive point actually started capping first, so some last second drama. Not a lot of people on South Railway. Bomb run is also coming down for 3-5. I assume this is going to be on that airhead. And it's gonna, oh, it actually just barely hits the airhead. So I don't know if ROFS got any. They did not. They only got one OP down. I think that's Kenny Boy's OP. Yes, it is. No, there's one more other OP. Sirloin's OP is down as well, but ROFS with a very timely push of their own. And defense will start back onto South Railway, or onto gun emplacements, my mistake. Only about 5 people here for ROFS and 3-5, so each of these kills, tank kills does die right away. But I think Fubar with that STG. And yes, they will start to defend, and I think that's going to be the end. It's just Sirloin back on defense. And that's probably going to be the last ditch effort play from ROFS with 10 minutes to go. I do not think they're going to have enough time to get another airhead in. Tanks are starting to push in as well. Just a medium tank. I don't think they have any heavies to spare. And already just farming that garrison over and over again. Not much that this medium tank can do against a medium and a panther, or and a tiger, my mistake. Oh man! Directly impacts a someone with an AT. Oh my god, dude, that is brutal. Oh, that is so brutal. Tank round just directly impact someone. It was definitely AP because it would probably blown up a lot more players, but oh man, that is hilarious. Just under 8 minutes to go here in this Div 2 final. ROFS in 3-5. 3-5 with basically in full control of this match since they got that mid cap, which was, you know, pretty entertaining long mid cap, 15 minutes or so. So, you know, wasn't easy for either team to get that mid cap, but once I think a few OPs and an unfortunate stuck tank from ROFS basically sealed that cap at gun emplacements for 3-5. So I think that might just be the moral of the story. Don't get your tank stuck in comp matches. This little tank. Ramen taco flip. Riding off in the sunset. E-strike is going out, I assume, onto this tiger tank, and you know, 2 for 3 isn't bad. This tank will be just okay. I don't know where Rum went. I think he's... We'll stick with Rum and see what he does. How is Rum still alive? He somehow shattered a round. I think tank was using HE. Oh, but Reaper using mines, but unfortunately he's not going to get him. Rum just absolutely eats a round of a tank shell. And then we'll go down to the heavy tank on top of the bridge. (3-5). Probably trying to go for that at least 4-1 victory, but I think ROFS are kind of all in committed on to attacking. Few SLs here for ROFS. Tank heals just, unfortunately, it's killed. I think silent airhead plane, because, you know, that's still a glitch that we do have. Airhead is going down at gun emplacements too. 3-5, probably gonna secure this victory here. Essentially, you know, 3 minutes left, or 3.5 minutes left, and for, you know, them to start capping. ROFS, that is. Unfortunately, just all 3-5 on my screen now. I'm just getting completely wiped out by... ROFS just getting just wiped out. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm losing my voice today, I'm not gonna lie. And if you are off, you're just trying to do whatever you can just to try to win this game, but it's pretty much over at this point. You know, this is kind of like last 4 minutes, like everyone get their kills. Mathematically, it's still possible. It's just extremely unlikely unless ROFS decides to absolutely just kill everything and 3-5 not to shoot. This has been a very, very convincing win, I think, for 3-5 here. Really didn't have to do a whole lot, in my personal opinion. I think ROFS just made a little bit too many mistakes, especially in that beginning. You know, there was some opportunities with that first airhead, especially. Like, I'm still confused of how 3-5 was still able to get away with that. It just seemed like a lot of ROFS were in the hard cap, but they were still not capping it. It was very weird. I don't know. I think a reinforce definitely had been down, but stay 50 seconds left till it's mathematically over and we do crown our first Division 2 champion of TPL. There's a supply drop going at gun emplacements. I guess we can rock with this, whatever this tank is called. And no one knows what the hell this tank is called, but looks like we have Rum and Taco again. Going off in the sunset. And it's still shaky as hell, so. And they found a garrison. Duffel spawns on it, but really can't do too much. And ROFS and 3-5 will end the season with 3-5 being your Division 2 champion. A little bit late to that call, but I was really locked in of what this this recon tank is doing. Trying to get that last ditch combat score. But congrats to 3-5 on winning the Division 2 championship. And Irish will finish off Rum and Taco Flip for potentially the last kill of the season. Obviously, we still have one more game to go. That's going to be the Division 3 championship, played in actually 2 weekends from now. So be lookout for that. I think that tank absolutely just wiped out that entire spawn. And with 30 seconds left, 3-5 just getting the last bit of combat score for the season, getting those last kills to flex for some reason. I don't know why people care about kills so much in this community, but they do. And that will be your game, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to 3-5 on becoming your Division 2 champions, and huge props and commemorations to ROFS on an incredible season. Just coming up a little bit short. I'm gonna give my commendation to Rum, because shout out to Rum, because we have Summit coming up in a few weeks. I think actually a month from now is the first weekend of Summit, if I do believe. Could be wrong about that, but check out those streams in about a month or so. I will be streaming some friendlies between now and then. And yeah, This is probably, I think, my last TPL stream for the season. I just want to say thank you all that have participated in the season. It's been really, really fun, really entertaining. You know, we had some really good highs, a little bit of lows here and there, but I think overall for the community, it was a complete success. So shout out to all of you guys, the community, and I'll see you guys in season 2. Take care. Have a good night.